We're coming off of Pittsburgh's lowest seasonal snow total in more than 30 years. Only 17.6 inches of snow was measured last year, and I get it. Over the course of time, there are going to be winters that end up being duds, but there are more noticeable trends occurring, especially in more recent winters.
If you go into winter needing it to snow, you're gonna be in big trouble.
For plow drivers like Garrett Smith, counting on snow in Pittsburgh during the winter used to seem like a pretty good bet. But the safer bet now is on the fact that winters in Pittsburgh are becoming more erratic. Looking at the numbers since 1945, you can see that there was largely consistency within the snow days for the first half of the data set. The second half, however, shows a much different winter pattern, a pattern that's becoming more and more erratic with a warming planet. Obviously, since we have a data set, the numbers are showing up in spreadsheets, but those numbers mean something, and what those numbers mean are being felt financially. Smith has been in the landscaping and snow removal business for more than 30 years, and he says a lot has changed since he started.
To me, it seems like everything's a month later than it used to be, in my opinion. Winter doesn't normally start till late December now. It just seems like all the seasons are about a month later than they used to be, in my opinion.
The thing is, we're actually seeing winters with more precipitation, but that precipitation can often end up more wet than white. Last winter is a prime example of that. We had almost 29 inches of precipitation, which accounts for rain and snow that's melted for measuring. That resulted in barely over 17.5 inches of snow. On the other hand, in 2018, Pittsburgh saw just over 31.5 inches of rain and the liquid equivalent of snow. That year, we saw nearly 60 inches of snowfall. Our coldest time of the year is actually not as cold as it used to be either. According to Climate Central, winter is the fastest warming season, and Pittsburgh's coldest part of the year is about 3.5 degrees warmer now than it was in 1970. This makes the snow business a tough business.
Good for like, the homeowners, good for the businesses. They saved a lot of money, but not so much for the businesses that were in the snow removal business.
That said, how can the people we count on to dig us out in the winter keep up when they can't count on winter to make their expenses worth their while?
There's a lot of guys kind of getting out of it. They don't see the point in the investments and the getting up at all hours of the night and basically don't sleep all winter long. And investing just in one dump truck, 120, 130, $140,000. And they just don't see the point. So a lot of guys have been getting out of it and just trying to push harder in the other seasons that you don't really need the snow removal and financially for yourself.
One of those who left the business is Tom Roush, who pushed snow for nearly a decade near Elwood City.
Last year was really the final nail in the coffin. It's just too sporadic anymore, especially when I didn't do grass cutting and all that kind of stuff in the summertime. So, you have $100,000 rig sitting there, you're buying salt because you never know what's going to come about. You could get, 12 inches, you could get nothing. And so you got that sitting there, you got equipment to load it. It's too sporadic anymore.
Now, with warmer winters taking over, more small business snow removers are going to have a harder time remaining in the business. Less competition traditionally results in higher prices, and that is one way a couple degrees of warming could start decreasing the money in your pocketbook.